How many of you ever had a moment of doubt? That quick cold feeling in your stomach that maybe, just maybe, you've missed something important. You've made a decision, you've filled out a form, you've submitted it, and you think you're done. But in the back of your head, a little voice whispers, what if I got it wrong? We're not talking about a simple mistake. We're talking about a mistake that could have a consequence that could show up not tomorrow, not the next month, but 5 years from now, when you're completely forgotten about it. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful and misunderstood rules in the Italian tax system, a practice rule. It's a rule that can turn a small error, a small mistake in your tax return into a life problem years later. We're going to show you why simply filing your taxes is not the end of the story. It's just the beginning of a 5-year waiting period. The rule we're talking about is the 5-year period. That means that for a tax return you file today, the tax authority has 5 years to come back and challenging it. They can ask for more information, demand more taxes, and apply penalties and interest. And they will come back when you least expect it. Let's meet Sara. Sara is a young professional from the UK who moved to Milan for a new job. Like many people, she is diligent and wants to do things the right way. So she filed her first Italian tax return with the help of a commercialista she found online. The process was fast, quick, and she felt relieved once everything was done. The accountant was good, but he missed something. Sara had a small saving account in the UK with some minimal interest income, maybe 500 euros per year. Because the amount was small, the accountant simply forgot to include it. The tax on the 500 euros would have been maybe, 100 euros, a tiny amount. Sara was happy and she had done her duty and she moved on with her life. 3 years later, Sara receives an official letter from the Agenzia delle Entrate. It's a terrifying moment. The letter says that her tax return for that given year was incorrect. It states that the interest from a UK savings account was omitted. It's an easy mistake to make, but the consequences are not so simple. The tax authority asked for the 100 euros she should have paid, but they don't stop there. They also apply a penalty. The penalty is not on the 100 euros. It's often a much larger percentage, sometimes between 100 to 240% of the unpaid tax. So now, Sara has to pay the original 100 euros plus maybe 200 euros in penalties. On top of that, there is interest that has been building up for 3 years. If this video helped you even a little bit, make sure you hit subscribe. We've got a lot more coming. And before you book a one-on-one session with us or you hire us for any tax-related service, take a moment to check our digital store. We've built a complete collection of guides, masterclasses, templates that already solve more than 80% of the real-world tax questions expats face in Italy. You will find everything directly in our store. The link is right below in the description. For a small mistake of 100 euros, Sara now has a bill of maybe 300 or 400 euros, 4 times as much, and a huge amount of stress and anxiety. But here's the kicker. The Agenzia delle Entrate is a complex bureaucracy. This letter might just be the start. The process of speaking, communicating with them, proving her case and paying the fine is a headache that could take months. All for an error that she didn't even know she made, years after she thought the book was already closed. The 5-year window turned a small mistake into a major problem, all while she had forgotten about it. Now, let's talk about a different case. Let's meet Giorgio. Giorgio is a German freelance consultant who moved to Italy under a special tax regime, the regime forfettario. This regime, briefly, is designed to be a simple, with a flat 5% tax rate on the gross revenues, and is very, very attractive for freelancers. So Giorgio files his tax return on time and correctly, and he feels pretty confident about the process. But again, Giorgio has a foreign bank account in Germany where he keeps some savings. We're not talking about a big amount, For his Italian tax return, he knows he has to report foreign financial assets on a special form called RW, Quadro RW. The form is simple enough, asking for the value of the account. Giorgio fills it out and files the return. What Giorgio didn't know is that the value of the account is not the only thing he has to declare. He also has to pay the wealth tax, called the IVAFE, on that account. For a savings account, it's a small amount. We're talking about 34 euros, less than a few hundreds euros per year. But because the amount was so small, he and his initial accountant overlooked about it completely. Years go by, Giorgio is happy, his business is doing well. 4.5 years later, he lifted his return. He gets a letter. It's from the Agenzia delle Entrate. They're using the 5-year rule of limitations. They have noticed that Giorgio declared his foreign bank account in the RW, but never paid a small wealth tax on it. Just like Sara, the penalty for not paying the IVAFE can be a whooping 100% to 200% of the taxes owed. But for not filing the RW correctly, the penalty can be even worse, up to 15% of the total value of the foreign asset. And even if the tax owed was just 34.20 euros, the penalty can be hundreds or thousands of euros. And remember, this is 4.5 years later. Giorgio now has a significant bill and the terrifying feeling of being targeted by the Italian authority. These stories are here to prove simple truth. Taxes are not just about numbers you pay today. They're about the peace of mind you have for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years. You have a choice. You can either live with this anxiety, hoping that the tax authority doesn't come knocking, or you can take control. You can become bulletproof by understanding the system, anticipating these problems, and making sure your tax return is not just filed, but are completely correct and compliant. This is what we do.
At Studio Rigo, we provide tax and strategic guidance for those navigating international complexity with significant interests in Italy. We work quietly, precisely, and always with the long term in mind. If you expect nothing less than clarity and control, you'll know where to find us. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.